Good morning, dear students. Today we will learn about time. So here is a clock. Clock tells us time. So in a clock, we have how many numbers on the face of the clock? We have 12 numbers on the face of the clock. So these 12 numbers are your which these 12 numbers tells you the hours of the time. Okay, and here on the face of the clock we have two hands. These two hands are called, the first is the longer one and the second one is the shorter one. So the longer hand is called your minute hand, and the shorter hand is called your hour hand. The minute, why it is called minute hand? Because the longer hand tells us minutes and the shorter hand tells us hours. So these 12 numbers are your hours. Okay. So here between these two numbers we are having very small units, and these small units are called minutes. Okay, so when there are how many minutes, when we total these minutes, when this minute hand covers one round of the clock, it covers how many minutes? It covers 60 minutes. Okay, so when this minute hand moves from 12 to 1, it is covering how many minutes are there? Let us count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when this minute hand moves from one number to another number, it covers 5 minutes. Okay, so let me explain it more. So what we learn? The clock, there are 12 numbers on the face of the clock. Okay, now clock has two hands. First is the longer one and the second one is the shorter one. So the long hand tells us minutes and the short hand tells us hours. So these minutes and hours are also called units of time. These are your units of time. So in your previous class you learned that when the hour hand is at 12, the minute hand is at 12 and the hour hand is somewhere on any number. Let us take it on 4. So the time, you call it, what will be your time? You call it, it's your 4 o'clock. So we write 4 o'clock. Now when this minute hand comes to 6, okay, and the hour hand is at 8, okay, so the time will be it's your 30 minutes, okay, because at 6 we have 30 minutes and we call it half past 8. So what we call it? Half past 8. So let us learn more about minutes. Here I have drawn clock, and when the minute hand is at 1, it's your 5 minutes because it is covering 5 minutes. Okay, when the minute hand moves from 12 to 1, it is your 5 minutes. Then it moves from 1 to 2, it's your 5 plus 5 is your 10. So when the minute hand is at 2, it's your 10 minutes. When the minute hand is at 3, it's your 15 minutes. And when the minute hand is at 4, it's your 20. Then further it is 25, 30. At 6, it is your 30 minutes. Then 5 minutes. So when you move minute hand, every time you are adding 5 minutes. Okay. So when this minute hand covers one complete round. When this minute hand covers one complete round. So every time it is covering 5, 5, then it's your 5, okay, then it's your 5, then it's your 5 minutes every time it is covering. So it took one whole round. So this minute hand covers one whole round of the face of the clock. So in one whole round it is covering how many minutes? Total these small units are your minutes. So it covers 60 minutes. Okay, so we call these small units shows us minutes. So these small units shows us minutes, and there are how many minutes? These small units are your 60. So when it covers one round, it's your 60 minutes. Okay, and we call it 1 hour. When the minute hand covers one full round, one complete round of the face of the clock, it's your 1 hour. So in 1 hour we have 60 minutes. Now these bigger units, these 1, 2, so these are your bigger units. So we call it hours. And how many hours are there? There are 12 hours on the face of the clock. Okay, but when we count one full day, so it's your 12 hours of the day and 12 hours of the night. So there are 24 hours in a day. Okay, so there are 24 hours in a day. Okay, now let us learn about how to count minutes. Okay, so it's in your worksheet 2, that is, how many minutes will the minute hand take to move from 12 to 1? So here, when the minute hand moves from 12 to 1, here I have shown only minute hand. So only one hand I have shown here. So only minute hand I have shown here. So this minute hand earlier it was at 12. Now it jumped from 12 to 1. So how many minutes it covered? It covered how many minutes? So we will calculate like how many jumps it took. It will take one jump. So we will multiply 1. So in every one jump it covers 5. So 1 multiply 5, it's your 5 minutes. Okay, so let us calculate now 5 to 8. So here I will show it to you. Here if the minute hand, I will just take it to the 5. Now if the minute hand is at 5, now it wants to go to 8. Now it wants to go to 8. Only minute hand you have to watch. Okay, so when earlier it was at 5, now it is at 8. So how many minutes it covered? Let us count. So from 5 to 6, it's your one jump. Then 6 to 7, again 2. Okay, and then 7 to 8, it's your 3 jumps it took now. Okay, so in every jump it is covering 5 minutes. From 5 to 6 it will cover 5 minutes. Then 6 to 7 it will cover 5 minutes again, and from 7 to 8 it will cover 5 minutes. So total there will be 5 plus 5 plus 5. So it is your 15 minutes. So we can write here, or we can calculate like, if 5, from 5 to 8 you have to count. So we can count like 1, 2 and 3. So it took 3 jumps here now. So we can write 3 multiply by, in every jump it is covering 5 minutes. So 3 multiply 5, it's your 15 minutes. Okay, or you can count further from 5 to 8. There are how many numbers here? 1, 2, 3. So 3 multiply 5, it's your 15 minutes. Okay, now let us calculate from 9 to 11. So from 9 to 11, how many numbers are there? Count. It's your 9, 1 and So there are 2 jumps now. So you will multiply 2 with 5. So it's your 10 minutes. Next is 3 to 9. So let us count now. 3 to 9, how we can calculate? So 3 to 9. So let us count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So it's your 6 multiply 5. So 6 5 are your 30 minutes. So in this way you can calculate minutes. So dear children, if you have to count minutes, you have to count the jumps and then you will multiply with 5. And if you have to count hours only, so hours are very simple. So it is in your book here in worksheet 2. In worksheet 2, in second part, so there are how many minutes in 1 hour? There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Okay. And the hour hand takes dash hours to move from 2 to 5. Now you have to count the hours. So hour hand is there and you have to calculate from 2 to 5. So how many hours the hour hand will cover? Now we will take only hour hand. So hour hand wants to move from 2 to 5. So count how many hours are there. So these bigger units are your hours. So from 2 to 5 there are 1, 2 and 3 hours. Okay. So that is your 1 hour, 2 hour and 3 hour. So this 2 to 5 there are 3 hours. Okay. So in this way you can do all these. Okay. So thank you children.